Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Please, that's enough. Thank you very much. May I say what an unadulterated honour it is to be speaking at such a prestigious venue. And can I say a big thank you to Kirsty and all those at BM Media. Come on, let's give them a big hand. Or not. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Thomas Corfield, and I write in an emerging fiction genre known as New Fable, which is epitomised by the Velvet Paw of Asquith novels. Also known as the Dooven Muzak. Thank you very much. I also write the sort of biography series known as The Wrong Books, which is rather less well known. An important component of the Dooven books is producing additional media to complement them, the music component of which is known as Dooven Muzak. So this presentation aims to explain what Dooven Muzak is, why it's important, and why it's particularly relevant to the New Fable fiction genre. So firstly, what is this new style of fiction? Well, New Fable genre fiction is characterized by entirely anthropomorphic mystery and adventure novels for older young adults. It has no human characters at all, and instead is populated by cats and dogs acting like people. This provides sort of ample opportunities for ridiculous scenarios and unpredictable plot, a ludicrousness which unfolds in a recognisably conventional world. Now, many people say that this idea is not new. After all, anthropomorphism in books has existed since fairy tales, and that New Fable is therefore little more than sort of a pretentious claim at originality. Well, I've done some presentations on New Fable which suggest otherwise, and I'm not going to say anything more about it here other than to reinforce that they're wrong, and that I'm more successful than any of them, despite having fewer friends. So what characterizes Dooven Muzak? Well, the purpose of Dooven Muzak is to complement the Dooven books, inasmuch its musical style aims to replicate the book's literative style. And it can be described as having a very retro feel with a lot of vintage synthesizer sounds and a distinct undulating turntable warble. And in fact, each track is pitched up marginally to ensure it doesn't correspond to any traditional scale. Now, because the Dooven books are set in a sort of an early James Bond-esque world, this vintage feel is appropriate. In addition, Dooven Muzak is influenced by film and electronic composers of the era, such as Alan Hawkshaw, Henry Mancini, and Walter Wanderley, for example. It's also heavily influenced by elevator music or shopping music, those wonderfully banal orchestrations that either make the world a wonderful place or a sheer living hell, depending on whether you like that sort of thing. And in addition, it incorporates elements of modern electropop, thanks to my collaboration with the pop duo Jesus Christ My Penis. So in essence, Dooven Muzak takes elements of electronica and combines them with vintage instruments such as the mellotron flute, Rhodes and vibraphones, and orchestral elements to create cheesy and retro-sounding tracks excuse me, that aim to complement the Dooven book's stylistic qualities. That is, that they're expressions of the book's characters and scenes. So what makes Dooven Muzak unique, besides all that? Well, firstly, it's an example of what's called polyauthorism, which is where authors experiment with additional media to remain relevant in this digital mash-up age, a result of traditional sort of books, television and music being reinvented through assimilation. In this way, Dooven Muzak is an extension of the books. Secondly, Dooven Muzak has been used for background music, perhaps as a consequence of it mirroring traditional music, for corporate media under the Ribbons Media label. and it's the only example of polyauthored music that's been licensed in this way. And this is significant when you remember that the music is written for a series of books rather than as music in and of itself. Thirdly, it's intentionally mastered in low fidelity, not only to complement the book's vintage style, but to contrast with the perfectly engineered music of today. And this is important because the book's themes often make similar statements about modern society, that perfection is a futile pursuit in that it's self-limiting, and something that's very easy to convey when cats and dogs are ruining restaurants and shredding taxis and urinating in elevators. Now, in consequence of this last point is that Dooven Muzak rarely follows conventional song structure, which is significant because the book's plots don't have much in the way of structure either. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit more about polyauthorism because it really is at the root of Dooven Muzak. As I mentioned, it refers to authors diversifying their creativity in response to the assimilation of traditional media through digital technology. In other words, the boundaries between words, music, video and artwork are becoming increasingly blurred, and consumers expect a more engaging reading experience. It also means that those who are less inclined to seek books directly might be inclined to do so when exposed to this complementary media. Now, this means that authors must diversify and redefine themselves as producers, either independently or through collaboration with other online talents, in order to remain relevant. The books remain pivotal, of course, but must be enhanced through polyauthorism to meet a changing audience expectation. And the benefit of collaboration with other digital artists also allows each benefiting from the other's audience, and it's surprising how many readers of the Dooven books discovered them via SoundCloud and DeviantArt, for example, which really demonstrates that authors must learn to engage readers beyond the written word. Now, what's the difference then between Dooven Muzak and Fable Pop? Now, most of you probably haven't heard of Fable Pop, but this question really highlights polyauthorism's ability to evolve digital media quickly. Now, initially, Dooven Muzak aimed to complement the books, the Velvet Paw of Asquith novels, but in collaboration with Jesus Christ, My Penis, Dooven Muzak evolved it further to incorporate the books themselves, that is, narrative excerpts, and the result is called Fable Pop, which is essentially Dooven Muzak with pictures and words. There's another presentation specifically on Fable Pop, which goes into the concept in more detail and explains a little bit about the pop duo Jesus Christ, My Penis. So can we hear some Dooven Muzak? Well, of course, I'm not just up here for my looks, you know. Here are some excerpts from two Dooven Muzak tracks. The first portrays the traffic in Asquith that greets Oscar Teabag Dooven each morning as heard from his apartment in Asquith's Inner Cove. And the second describes Oscar when he's searching for clues in the great library of Lieb during his fourth adventure, When Fear Is Not Afraid. thank you very much. So there you have it. Dooven Muzak, Author ISM and the Velvet Paw of Asquith novels. Something to think about, or perhaps forget about entirely. Speaking of setting fire to things, Kirsty should be making her way amongst you with some little parcels of petrol. I'll be outside in the car park after this, burning some of my books, and you're welcome to help with the incineration. Alternatively, you can take some copies home to burn at your leisure. But remember not to do so indoors, which was a mistake I made in my hotel room earlier, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not mistaken because I had to sign a form. So thank you very much, and good morning.